You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Welcome, brilliant minds, to The Vocal Technologist. Today on Web3 Wednesdays, we're diving headfirst into crypto. You know how it is, things move so fast. 1 minute you're trying to wrap your head around something, the next, bam, it's already part of traditional finance. So our goal today is to cut through that whirlwind and give you the key insights. We've got tech giants making moves, market surprises, and yeah, a few reality checks too. Should be fascinating. Okay, let's kick off with institutional adoption. Some big news here. Circle is making these massive strides, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're partnering with MasterCard.
Yeah, enabling USDC stablecoin settlements for merchants across Eastern Europe, the Middle East, Africa. Huge reach.
And it gets bigger. Finastra, they handle, over $5 trillion a day in cross-border transactions?
That's the number. And they're integrating USDC into their main platform, Global Pay Plus.
So banks in 50 countries can now settle international payments using USDC.
Yeah.
Well, it's quietly becoming foundational, isn't it?
Exactly. Not just for crypto geeks anymore.
And what's really interesting, I think, is the depth of it all. Look at Google Cloud.
Mm.
Their Universal Ledger, GCUL, is now in private testnet. It's designed as this neutral infrastructure just for finance.
Neutral how?
Well, Python-based smart contracts, so easier for regular developers. And native commercial bank money right there on the chain.
You mean actual bank funds?
Precisely. Real bank money settling directly on a ledger. And the CME group is already piloting tokenized assets on it.
Wow. Okay, so Google's building that base layer. But how does that connect with, the DeFi world, like Aave Labs?
Right, good question. Aave's taking a different path, maybe more decentralized. They launched Horizon.
Which is?
It's an Ethereum-based lending market. Institutions can borrow stablecoins, but the collateral is tokenized real-world assets, RWAs.
So things like property or invoices turned into tokens.
Exactly. It bridges compliant institutional finance with DeFi.
Yeah.
And they're using things like Chainlink's NeviLink for, accurate real-time valuations, crucial for trust.
Right. Different paths, same goal maybe, bringing institutions in. Okay, let's shift gears a bit to the markets. Bitcoin's been interesting.
Yeah, lagging Ether in the broader market recently.
True, but that 200-day moving average crossing $100,000 still signals a strong long-term trend, doesn't it?
It does suggest underlying strength, yeah. Long-term picture looks solid based on that metric.
But here's a real, curveball. Cronos, CRO.
Oh, yeah. What was that surge? Over 50%.
Over 56%. Turns out Crypto.com and Trump Media announced this plan for a huge $6.4 billion CRO treasury company.
And they're integrating the token into Truth Social's reward system.
Yep. Talk about an unusual driver for value, right?
Okay.
Way beyond just the tech.
It certainly raises questions about, how we assess token value. It's not always just the fundamentals.
Definitely not.
And speaking of value and unique things, Solana's doing some interesting stuff with its AMMs, the automated market makers.
How so?
They're embedding trading strategies directly on chain. These
Wow.
aren't just simple liquidity pools. And these venues, they're handling over $1 billion in daily volume, capturing more than 60% of the SLUSDC trading. It's something pretty unique that Solana's architecture enables.
$1 billion a day just on those AMMs. That's significant volume. But this valuation question keeps coming up, doesn't it? How do investors get a clearer picture?
Well, that leads to this new metric people are talking about.
Outstanding supply.
Exactly. It's like outstanding shares in traditional stock markets.
So it excludes locked tokens, insider tokens, stuff that isn't really circulating.
Precisely. It aims to give a much truer market cap figure. Filtering out that illiquid supply gives you more accurate valuation multiples. It's kind of a step towards more mature analysis in crypto.
Yeah, more transparency. Seems like a needed step.
So we've got institutional adoption, evolving market analysis, but there's also this bigger picture, right? How this tech challenges fundamental ideas about governance and even wealth.
Like futarchy. That's a wild concept.
It is. It blends democratic voting on what we want the values with prediction markets to figure out how to get there.
So people bet on which policies will actually achieve the voted on goals.
Kind of. The principle is vote on values, bet on beliefs. And crypto infrastructure, the blockchains, the prediction markets, it actually allows testing this stuff at scale now.
Fascinating. Very different way to think about making decisions. And speaking of beliefs, there's that argument about traditional banking being a 3-layer scam.
Yeah, that's a provocative framing. The idea is banks keep treasury yields, then inflation and taxes eat your real return.
And the dollar itself is inflationary, so you lose 3 times over.
That's the argument. So the advice some are giving is dollars for short-term needs, maybe treasuries for medium-term.
And scarce assets like Bitcoin, ETH, maybe gold for long-term wealth preservation?
Right. It definitely makes you question where you park your long-term savings.
Yeah.
But, we need a reality check, too. It's not all revolutionary tech and broken old systems. The crypto space has its own major challenges.
Like the sandbox.
Exactly. A prime example. Huge hype around the metaverse concept.
And now?
Big problems. Laid off over half their staff, swapped out the executive board, and now they're pivoting to launch meme coins.
A meme coin launchpad. Seriously.
Yeah. It's a pretty stark reminder that even the buzziest projects hit market realities. Adoption didn't materialize as hoped, and they need a sustainable model. Or maybe just a new narrative.
Right. Hype isn't enough. You need real adoption, real
Yeah.
utility. Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Google, Aave, bringing crypto towards traditional finance, new governance ideas like futarchy, that whole debate on wealth preservation and the hard realities like with the sandbox.
It's moving incredibly fast.
Mhm.
Institutions leaning in, technology maturing.
It really makes you wonder, what does decentralization actually mean going forward as these worlds blend?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
How does all this reshape our ideas about money, ownership, even how we govern ourselves?
Lots to think about. Well, thank you for joining us on The Vocal Technologist for this exploration.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you next time for another deep exploration.
Spoken Tech for your ears.